In the wake of George Floyd's death, there's been a lot of talk about defunding, dismantling, or abolishing the police. Today, we want to talk about the abolish idea and what those pushing for it say it could look like. MPD 150 put out some frequently asked questions. Now, what is MPD 150? According to its website, it's an effort by local organizers, researchers, artists, and activists. It is not the project of any organization. And these organizations say it is a starting point to understand what they are talking about when they talk about a police-free future in Minneapolis. So here are 4 commonly asked questions. Won't crime and chaos ensue after police are abolished? MPD 150 says, of course, it won't happen overnight. They're talking about a gradual process, reallocating resources and funding from police to people who are best equipped to deal with those crises. So calling on a mental health service provider instead of police because it says we're asking too much of them. What about bank robbers, murderers, the bad guys? MPD 150 says, sure, there still may be a need for a small group whose job is to respond to violent crimes, but it's talking about the bigger picture. The thought from MPD 150 is shifting away money from police and instead to services so people will get out of a place where they don't have to, say, rob a bank. Then there's this question. Can't we fund all this and the police too? Why does it have to be either or? MPD 150 says it's not just that police are ineffective, but also harmful. It says policing has a history of violence against marginalized communities, saying most social services agencies and organizations that could serve as an alternative are underfunded. And finally, there's this question. This all sounds good in theory, but is it impossible to do? MPD 150 says so were things like ending slavery or voting rights or even a 40-hour work week. It says the police as an institution has existed for less than 200 years, less time than slavery in the U.S. Of course, there are also people out there who don't agree with this. But a note if you want to check this out on their website. It clearly states these points don't speak for the whole movement. All right, let's